You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need for the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. You know, when people talk about transformation and change, they usually talk about how hard it is to change. Oh, it's so hard. It takes such a long time. And they're right. It is hard to change. But today's guest is going to reveal how she went from a depressed mess to being a motivational speaker in less than a year. Joining me today is Kelly Walker. She is a mom, a wife, an optimist, a motivational speaker, and a manifesting coach who has a driving desire to bring joy and sparkles to the world. And don't we need more of that? She loves to speak about the power of manifesting on purpose and help people see that they really can have everything they've ever wanted. One of her favorite magic wands is a powerful personal manifesto that transforms minds from the subconscious out. And when she's not busy revealing to others how awesome they are, I can't wait till we get to that part, she works on her book, From Checked Out to Changing Lives, How I Went from a Depressed Mess to a Motivational Speaker in Less Than a Year, and So Can You. What an awesome book title that is. So, and she's planning, on top of that, she's planning her yearly manifesto cruise. So Kelly Walker, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Tell us, what a great title for a book. There's got to be a great story behind that great title. Tell us how you got started. What's your humble beginnings to go from a depressed mess to a motivational speaker?
Oh, they are so humble. So, about a year and a half ago, I was in my own rock bottom, and I actually got myself fired, which I'd never done before. So that was a horrifying accomplishment because I was completely checked out of life. I was neglecting everything, my job, obviously, my home, my family. I spent all my time binge watching Netflix or sleeping or playing a video game. And, I was pretty close to losing my family and everything that was important to me because I was just focused on the bad. And so I got a lot more of the bad in my life.
Was that something that just hit you all of a sudden, or was there a triggering event, or what got you focused on the dark side?
When I had my son, he's 13 now, I had some really horrible postpartum depression. And so I went on some medications, and over the next 13 years, I just kind of seemed to get worse and worse. It was pretty gradual at first, but about 3 years ago, it started to go down rapidly, and I could see myself, degrading, but I was so highly medicated, I kind of didn't care because, the antidepressants kind of make you numb. So it was a bad combination.
I've got a background in psychology, at least a degree in psychology. And I've heard different psychologists say that really medication is more about making you tolerable to everybody else.
Right.
Does that sound
Seriously?
familiar?
Yes, because my husband would say, "Have you been taking your meds?" Sometimes, and I'd be like, "Oh, no, I thought maybe I could go off them." And he was like, "No. Nope. Nuh-uh. Ain't gonna happen right now."
Yeah. So you went down that road, and I guess you were getting some help and some medication, but that was not working for you. So what was the catalyst that began to turn things around?
Oh, okay. This is amazing, and I might cry. I often cry when I talk about this.
That's all right.
So I'd just been fired, and so I was just, reveling in my do nothing life and feeling sorry for myself. And I got this email, and it was from a person I didn't know very well, but it was offering me a free ticket to a 3-day life-changing seminar.
Mm.
And I thought, wow, I could use some life-changing.
Yeah, right.
So I got dressed and I left the house for the first time in a while. And I went to the seminar, and the speaker, the things he said, the way he said them, his demeanor, everything about him just, I don't know what, it just broke my shell. It broke whatever was broken in me.
Mm.
And I completely changed. I just grabbed onto that beam of light. And in the next few months, I was a completely different person. And it was all based on the things he said from that stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you've really got me in suspense. What were the things? What's the big takeaway from that life-changing moment that turned it around?
It was, if I could put it all into a nutshell, it's what you focus on grows, and show more gratitude to yourself and others, you know?
Wow.
That's in a nutshell. But it was profound. It changed me.
So that changed your whole demeanor, your attitude, everything.
Mm-hmm.
From depression and medication and being unfocused and about to lose everything, to just grabbing hold of these big ideas, and that allowed you to make the shifts that you needed. So tell us more about that journey from that point to the point where today you're a motivational speaker helping others. I mean, that's still a leap, right?
It is a leap. Yeah. So when I was listening to him, and I was just thinking, I have to do this. That calls to me. I want to go on stage and change the lives of thousands of people like this. And so I had no speaking background at all, terrified of public speaking. It was ridiculous that I thought I could do this. In my mind, I thought it was ridiculous, but I felt like I was called to do it. And so I started pursuing options to learn how to be a speaker, to get training, to learn how to write speeches, to find places to speak. And I put it on my vision board, and I wrote my manifesto, and I talked about what an amazing speaker I was, and how I'm asked to speak all over the world, and that I change lives, and it started happening. I started to literally manifest a speaking career. I was able to get into a program that was completely out of my time budget and money budget. And something happened at the company, and things shifted around, and I'd bought another program from them, and they canceled it, and they said, would you like to finish out your program in this other program? And I said, well, that'd be fun, but don't you have a speaking program? Could I end it in that instead? And they were like, oh, okay. So I got into this speaking training program, basically, not for free, but for the budget I had already set for the other program. And I joined some speaking groups and Toastmasters, and I entered speaking competitions, which I won my first speaking competition, first speech ever, and I won. And I thought, wow, I'm on the right track.
That's awesome. How do you win a speaking competition?
Well, it's like The Voice, but for speaking.
Oh, okay.
And it's really cool. It's a local thing here in Utah where I live.
Neat. I didn't know such a thing existed. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So it just kind of all fell into place, and I'm pretty sure it's because I was obsessed with it. So I manifested it by being so completely obsessed with it.
How about that? Well, then you brought it to pass. You focused on it. You
Yes.
became obsessed with it. And in less than a year, you went from depressed mess to a motivational speaker. But you also took action. It wasn't just.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you took massive action.
I did.
You put yourself out there in some uncomfortable things that were new to you, but you embraced it. So that's motivational. That's encouraging for everybody. Now, tell us more about who you help. And we were talking off air about how you are now working with people in a very specific way. Tell us more about that.
Well, since I've become a speaker, I have met so many people, and I've started a manifesting class. I didn't mention this. Every Monday morning, I do a free manifesting class online. And almost all of the people that have joined it are women who, they've tried manifesting, they've tried the law of attraction, they feel called to do better things, and learning how to manifest their dreams is really important to them. And I started to just realize a lot of them want to be speakers, and people have come up and asked me about speaking and, how I did it, who my mentors are, how do I find opportunities to speak? And I just realized that there was a need there. And so I still do my regular manifesting coaching, but now I also do manifesting your speaking career coaching.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very niched. And so the riches are in the niches, as they say.
Yeah.
And, so that's the authentic you, helping others with the way you've been helped. And so you can relate to that. That gives you some authenticity and authority there. So very good. Very cool. Now, you work with people who I guess they're relatively new at speaking. They want to speak. They want to have a speaking career. What's the most common problem you see with the people that you're trying to help and going in that direction? Oh,
definitely lack of confidence. I remember when I started, thinking I could be a speaker, I would always think to myself, who do I think I am? Who's given me permission to do this? Yeah. And who even cares? And, things like that. Who gives me permission to do this? Yeah. Says who?
And what's the answer?
The answer is you give yourself permission.
There you go.
And you don't ask anybody else for it.
That's it.
If you have something to share, people are going to want to hear it, or they're not. Yep. You put it out there, and that's your authority. No apologies, no excuses. Exactly. I don't need anybody's permission. I love it. I love it. So you help them build confidence in that area. Yes. What could someone begin to do to see some immediate improvement in their confidence? And maybe not necessarily speaking, but how do we get more confidence? How do we get that extra little something that says, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. Right. I'm not going to be restricted by the limiting beliefs of other people. How do we develop that kind of self-confidence in every area of life? What do you think? Well, one of my favorite things is, of course, the manifesto, where you write about basically, not in a braggy way, but how awesome you are. And how positively you impact the world and your dreams and your goals and how you can accomplish them. And so that's one way to do it. Another way that I really like is, so there's this thing that we do around here a lot at seminars and events in Utah, probably everywhere, I don't know, but I've only been to ones in Utah, called The Greatness I See in You, where you look into another person's eyes and you just, through intuition, point out all of their strengths. And it's weird because you think you wouldn't be able to figure them out because you don't know them, but you do. Things come to your mind and you're right. And you freak the other person out that you know so much about them. So I like to flip that and do it in the mirror. And that is surprisingly powerful to validate yourself and to actively look for the good things about yourself. And that really helps your self-confidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have seen, I think there's a video online somewhere of a teacher who would do that exercise with his kindergarten students or first grade students or somebody. And every day at the beginning of class, they would come up to the front and he would look at them in the eye and he would basically say, "You are awesome. You know how to spell, you know how to do this, you're a hard worker." And he would just build them up for like a minute and would do each student like that every day. And when you said that, it made me think about that video. We'll have to look that up and take another look at that. But, wow, if everybody did that, that would really create some radical shifts in our kids. And especially if we would do that with one another. But I've never heard anybody say, look in the mirror and try that on yourself. That sounds like an interesting challenge.
It is. It is challenging. That's true.
So, one of the biggest issues, I think, I mean, you're fortunate and you're rare because you were able to take something and you have enough self-efficacy to be able to take action. And
Thank you.
I don't think that's necessarily true of many people who they have a hard time looking in the mirror. They don't see anything, or they look and they have negative self-talk when they look in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
So how would working with someone like you, besides the fact that you're totally awesome, how would working with you really improve their chances for success?
Well, I have one of my clients tells me repeatedly that I'm the most positive person that has ever mentored her. And that she said, I just have a way of pointing out what she needs to work on with so much love and, appreciation for her that it makes her feel good. It doesn't make her feel sad or down on herself. So, I am really good at seeing literally the greatness in other people.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's actually the name of your blog and your website. I love awesome.
I do love awesome. I love it so much.
I love awesome.com. And so, yeah, I get that positive vibe. I get that positive energy from you, just listening to your story. So tell us what you're working on right now that's got you really excited.
Ooh, okay. So right now I have a new e-course for aspiring speakers. And so, it's from 0 to beginner level. Okay. So it walks you through figuring out what your message is. It kind of helps you figure out your life's purpose, because that helps you with your message a lot. Overcoming your doubts and fears about becoming a speaker, and narrowing your topic down enough that you're successful, because it's so many people start out saying, oh, my message applies to everyone.
Right.
But, there's a saying that I really like to remember: everybody is nobody. There is no one size fits all.
Yeah.
So you need to narrow your focus to help one demographic with one problem, which actually makes you more successful as a speaker.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's the same philosophy in marketing. As a marketing strategist, it's not to reach everybody, it's to reach somebody.
Right.
And to be very specific about what you do and who you do it for. One problem, one solution for one person, and really nail that down and dial it in. And what do you know? It sounds like the same thing works in the speaking business as well.
It totally does. Oh, and the really cool part. Okay. So if you do the course, you get special insider pricing for my cruise in February, which is called How to Manifest a Speaking Career.
How to Manifest a Speaking Career. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's a cruise. It's a 7-night cruise on Royal Caribbean in February.
An actual cruise.
An actual cruise. Like, we're leaving. We're going to the Caribbean. We're out of here in February when it's horrible.
Yeah.
And so, we have on our at sea days, we will do speaking workshops, and it's going to be freaking awesome.
That really sounds cool.
Right?
So that sounds like just the perfect thing for somebody. I mean, especially to get out of their environment, get out of their world, make a radical transformation,
right?
And do an intensive 7-day transformation that's going to launch a new career so that you can change the world. What's not to love about that?
I know, right? And launching a ship, launching a career, it's just awesome. It's just the perfect environment and change and everything.
Yeah, perfect venue for that. That's cool. Well, this is really awesome. Your story is inspiring, and I want to be able to send our listeners to where you are so that they can get more of the goodness. How is the best way to get in touch with you?
An email would be really good. And do you want my email address?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to put that out all over the place.
I do. I'm fine with that. Okay. So my email is speakinggigswithkelly@gmail.com.
speakinggigswithkelly@gmail.com. And of course, the website is iloveawesome.com. And you will get all of the awesome goodness of Kelly Walker there. So this has been really cool. Tell us if you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our listeners as we wrap things up.
Oh, definitely. So I really want people to know that everyone is the hero of their own story, and how important it is to understand that and embrace it. Because, most of us are just trudging through life feeling small and inadequate. And so I like to compare it to Harry Potter. Have you read Harry Potter?
I haven't. It's not my genre, but I'm familiar with it. Okay.
Well, so he lives the first 11 years of his life.
I'm a little over Harry Potter.
You're over him. but it's a good example of what I mean. So he lives the first 11 years of his life thinking he is this completely useless, unloved outcast. And then he finds out that he is special. And
that I can relate to.
Yeah.
I can relate to that story. I think most people can.
Yeah. So when he finds out who he really is, the change in him is amazing. And that's what I'm looking for. I want everyone to know that they are special and they have incredible value, and they just need to find it and see it and believe it and then share it.
Excellent. Well, this has been great. Kelly Walker. She is a mom, a wife, an optimist, a motivational speaker, and a manifesting coach. And you can find out more about her and about her book with the awesome title, From Checked Out to Changing Lives, How I Went from a Depressed Mess to a Motivational Speaker in Less Than a Year, and So Can You. That's one of the,
I love that title.
That's one of the better titles I've ever read. No, it's talking about narrow down on your niche. Right? That does it, and that offers a great big promise and a very awesome story to boot. So go check that out at iloveawesome.com. Kelly Walker, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you. Thanks for being on Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. You're awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at ralphbrogden.com.